Good evening, everyone. Lake City, Bangalore becomes tanker city. This is the main topic today. I think already welcome. Once again, I welcome Suresh for joining us for this discussion. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಕೆರೆಗಳ ನಗರಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. Sometimes it is called as a air conditioned city and lake city and garden city. But now it is different. The thing is going to different because of it is not lakes, because lakes are full of pollutions and all the things. But taglines, Bangalore having so many taglines like Silicon City, air conditioned city and all that. But these taglines are now we are not seen because now drinking water, very first, Bangalore was given the drinking water by lakes. Thermamudi Lake was given the drinking water to the city. ಆದರೆ ಈಗ ಆ ಕೆರೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲ, ಕುಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಲಿ ನಾವಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಕೆರೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಬೋರ್ವೆಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ನೀರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಬೋರ್ವೆಲ್ ಯಾಕೆ ನೀರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತರ್ಜಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಕೆರೆಗಳ 10 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಹೀಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೊದಲು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿನ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಂತರ್ಜಲ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೊಂದು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಕೆರೆಗಳು. ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಕೆರೆಗಳು ಇದ್ದು ಅಂತಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತೀತಿ. ಈಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ದಾಖಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. 1008 ಕೆರೆಗಳು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. BBMPಲಿ 205 ಇದೆ. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಕೆರೆಗಳ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಈಗ ನಾವು ಈ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ ಸಿಟಿನ ಮಾಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಲೇಕ್ ಸಿಟಿನ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಸಂಬಂಧದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಸುರೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುರೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅವರು ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತ ಪರಿಸರ ತಜ್ಞರು. ಓಕೆ, ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಟಾಕ್ ವಿತ್ ಸುರೇಶ್ ಸರ್. Sir, please tell me how you see Bangalore city before, means 1 decade ago or 2 decades ago, as a lake city.
I don't know, you have already shown now on your presentation. It is clear what has happened to the lakes of Bangalore. Okay? What has happened to the lakes of Bangalore. I want to know how much people understand the importance of the lakes, basically. Is lake just an environmental, sort of what do you say, abaranana? Is it just some sort of that? Or does it really help the society economically, socially, culturally to live better? It reduces electricity at home if you have the lakes. Because Bangalore was called as an air-conditioned city earlier. If you really understand what an air-conditioned city is, if you go around the lake during summer, the hot wind that spread across the sheet of the water, and spread around the catchment area, it would cool the area. Similarly, what would happen during the winter, the same thing. So it came to be called as the air-conditioned city. That means, I remember till 1975-80, that we did not have fans also at home in the house. We never used the fans. I remember when I came here with my 2 friends, 1971-72, we lived in a room in May, 3 of us in one room. It was so hot. I mean, it is never hot. We never used even fan for a whole month. So today, you look at the electricity, the way the Bangalore has gone, apartments, shopping complexes, road, metros. We are just fascinated by the shopping complex and all that. Actually, as I'm a student of economics, basically. And I should have gone more, after the economic growth, economic expansion, economic development. But I understood that this is the economic development and economic growth has brought the destruction of many of our environmental assets. These assets are very important from the point of view of economic growth. All the natural resources, whether it is mineral, forest, wood, soil, living soil, all these contribute to the economic development. But unfortunately, we have not understood it. So Bangalore was one of the most beautiful cities in Asia. I used to write quite a lot about it, both in Times and Deccan Herald, Prajavani, Vijay Karnataka. I used to write in many of these papers. I wrote in Times of India long back and said that Bangalore was becoming a graveyard of, these lakes. Because, in 1980, persons around Alsur Lake told me that they used to drink water directly from the lake, the people who lived around Alsur Lake. And today if you drink, you will die. So most of our lakes were drinking water sources. But after economic liberalization, that is the globalization, 1990-91, followed by economic liberalization, people started losing interest in the environmental assets like grasslands, wetlands, shrublands, forests, trees, soil. Today, if you go around Bangalore, you don't see soil, you don't see grass. Agree? You don't see anything. And how I don't know, when we asked your children how will they learn about environment, people say they will learn from computer. See, we have reached that stage today. Most of the children learn about environmental basics from the computer. I used to tell them you should fall, you should be bitten by the microlife like ants and things like that. You should get the smell of the grass. Now, I used to quote that Thomas Mann, who got a Nobel Prize for Literature, was around when he was 23, 24. He had decided to commit suicide. And he was running to a cliff and he wanted to take a jump from there. He stumbled on the grass, fell to the ground, and he started smelling the grass. He remembered his childhood. And he said, my childhood was so beautiful. He stopped. He did not commit the suicide. He went back home, he called his friends, and he began to write about his childhood and all. The book was Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain. It won him a Nobel Prize. These are the things which have brought us about the grass. See, Bangalore had a lot of grasslands and wetlands. Even today there are in the peri-urban areas of Bangalore. We are working in peri-urban areas. My son is an environmentalist, but he doesn't go for publicity and all. You know him. He knows. So, when publicity is sense, he is not interested. Anyway, so I told him, you work in the villages. There is no scope for you to work in Bangalore as far as environment is concerned. Because today, you don't know, the government is chasing money, unfortunately or inevitably, they have to. As we all are chasing money today. Because Joseph Haldane, who used to teach in Delhi University, he wrote a book. He was a physicist, British. In that, he has written that the future younger generations will be fascinated by technology. And they will start chasing technology because it will bring a lot of wealth. In the process of earning the wealth, they lose interest in environment, poetry, literature, arts, painting and everything. And that generation, he said, will be wiped out. This is exactly what I read and I thought this must be told to the future generations today. And this is exactly what is happening. Because a lot of salaries are being given to the youngsters. They work in the big companies, they buy apartments, they buy car, they buy mobile phone, go abroad, go to hotels, have dinner. That's life. This is what he wrote. So this is what is actually happening when we are losing interest in our environmental sources. Because we are not bothered about what is happening to the lake. That's the whole thing. And as I said, after globalization, followed by economic liberalization, there was the increase in the population, the increased demands of the increased population, right? For instance, not only for drinking water, but they wanted many other commodities like paper, sugar, and then fertilizers, houses, shoes, whatever you take, paper. I have sometimes, thought that, we should bring an end to the printing of notebooks to millions of students. I have seen the forests which have been wiped out. In Bhadravati, 72,000 hectares of wonderful forests was completely wiped out because of the Mysore paper mills and Bhadravati paper mills. It was, if you go to Bhadravati, you don't see the forest now. It was full of bamboo. Similarly, what happened to Dandeli is the same thing. They have wiped out the entire bamboo from Dandeli also. And now, since there was no bamboo to use as a raw material, they bought and they took on lease about 5,000 acres of land near Tegur. And then they planted thousands of this eucalyptus there. So what do we get? We are getting monoculture like sugar, and sugar is another thing. My friend who told me that sugar is a major thing for the water crisis of the entire state. We are not only talking about Bangalore's water crisis. If you go to Dharwad, it's the same thing. If you go to Davangere, it's the same thing. Because everywhere we are losing this. Second thing is, we have lost about 45% of the Western Ghat forests. We must know that the Western Ghat forests are the chief source of precipitation, because the rain-bearing clouds of the Arabian Sea, as they float over the forest, they precipitate heavily. Today, there are not much of forests where the precipitation can be seen. Apart from biodiversity, the humus and so many things, the medicinal plants that we have, and so many other advantages of the forests, we have the major thing is the sources of water. There are thousands and thousands of streams which are born in the folds of this wetland, in the folds of Shola forest and the savannas. There's a grassland. In the folds, there are these perennial sources of streams. And these streams join the rivers. From the river, we take water, irrigate thousands of acres of land, and farmers are staying in the villages. But unfortunately, since we lost nearly 45% of the Western Ghat forest, now there is not much water for irrigation, and huge amounts of, the agriculture fields have been brought under cultivation of sugarcane. 1 ton of sugarcane takes about 12 lakh liters of water. You just imagine, paddy and sugarcane are ripping our rivers and all that. Plus, we are denuding the forests. So where do you get water? See, we are talking about now groundwater, right? Can I speak about groundwater? The groundwater also, Bangalore, we have lost about more than 50-60% of the groundwater. Because the elevations and depressions, Bangalore's topography was beautiful. I once wrote that Bangalore was one of the most beautiful cities in Asia because of its beautiful elevations, topography, landscapes, and all that. We have decimated the entire topography of Bangalore. There is a Hulimau. Hulimau is a lake near Banerghatta. From Hulimau, the water comes into Gottigere. From Gottigere to Madiwala. From Madiwala to Agra. From Agra to Belandur. Belandur to Vartur. And from Vartur, 100 kilometers through the canal, it goes to Krishnagiri. You can imagine, from Hulimau near Banerghatta and 100 kilometers away from Vartur into Tamil Nadu, what a range of lakes we have. So the whole thing is integrated. Why we say we should save every small pond, every small lake, every small kalyani, wells, ponds, because they are all the underground network of these water bodies, they are all connected. They are all connected. That is why we must save them. In Bangalore, we have destroyed all of them. The apartments came. Unfortunately, the real estate, people, they started huge. They were fascinated by Bangalore's growth, and they wanted to provide homes for a lot of youngsters and all that. So the apartment builders came and they went into the villages. They started buying land which were meant for agriculture and horticulture, and they took over. People in the villages were very happy because they were getting a lot of the land prices shot up. They got more money. They started buying wonderful cars. Some of them came and told me, "Sir, we want to make films now. You can produce one for us." No, this is exactly what has happened. So this is the way we have lost our lakes. And there is a lot to talk about. You see, even today, say something like 2,650 million liters of water, which Bangalore needs every day. And we can only get, they say, from Kaveri about 1,450 or so. I don't know how Kaveri is giving, because Kaveri is also part of the Western Ghats. And the Kaveri River is born in the Western Ghats. Our Western Ghats are ripped because of the transmission lines, because of the resorts and homestays, hotels, agriculture, cutting up the wood for wonderful buildings like these. We have lost a lot of forests. And then there is a lot of poaching also, and dams. And even today, this is going on. How do we stop it? We don't know. This globalization has brought tremendous destruction of many of the environmental natural resources of the Asian countries and also African countries. Same thing is happening to Cambodia, Vietnam. The wonderful coffee they were growing, they had forests. Now they started growing coffee. They are getting more money. And same thing, sometimes, they have a drinking water problem. Drinking water problem is going to hit like mad to us. We will be, unfortunately, our future is not good with regards to water. I didn't want to say this, but I'm telling you, it's going to be very bad. And as far as climate change and global warming are concerned, we are a tropical country. We should have saved all the grassland, shrub. Hey, kanti ada, tagi antare. Kanti beku, shrub is required. A grass blade is important. A shrub is important. A tree is important. You cannot produce one drop more water than what it was millions of years ago. It will be the same even millions of years later. You can produce more energy from wind, from solar. You cannot produce even one more drop. But we want more paper, we want more food, we want more fertilizer, we want more factories, more pants, more shoes. And to produce all this, you require more water. This is the scenario today. Anyway, you can ask questions and we can answer.
After Suresh sir's embark on that groundwater series of lakes, I just want to know about with Pachapur. Pachapur is working with pollution of lakes.
Yeah.
Please elaborate how pollution is impact. Means it is on lakes. It is giving very polluted lakes we are seeing in around Bangalore. Lot of fish kills also happening. Could you elaborate on this?
Thank you. The pollution at the lake is we have been seeing that for quite a long time. I think BWSSB, when they started in 1960s, did not think of how water will be, grey water will be treated. They were more interested in bringing the water from Kaveri, 140 kilometers, pumping it all the way to Bangalore. But what will happen for the grey water? That was not thought. Probably that was one of the major reason why all the water was let into the stormwater drains, Raja Kalways, and as Sir said, it is a cascading effect that we have the lakes across Bangalore. One in the top in the valley, we have 3 valleys, one in the Hebbal Nagwara Valley in the north, and one in the south, Kormangla Chalgatta Valley, and one from the top to down to Kaveri, that is Rishvavati Valley. So all these valleys were used to discharge our grey water and industrial waste and everything. So it has to come to the next lake, and our lakes were not planned to protect from the pollution earlier, because Raja Kalwe always helped the stormwater to enter the lakes. So BBMP, or that point of time, whoever was the authority, did not think of that. So that's how all the sewage entered the lakes, and it went on entering all the lakes one after another. And pollution as such is although we have a pollution control board, they in a recent year back meeting, they were also talking about member secretary, who was a very responsible person. He was saying pollution control board, when they started, the intention was to control the industries who were letting discharging into the rivers. So we never thought of lakes at that point of time, and even today he says the same thing. After 1971 Water Act came, since then we have not progressed much in terms of controlling pollution, although they say state pollution control board, they have not been very active in this line. So that's in this sector. And even now, when you go outside, that is the industrial area, they are little active there. They look into the effluent parts and all, but when it comes to the lakes, they are not very active. Even recently, we have a lot of fish kills happening in the last few years, and it was not highlighted. So we tried to make a very secondary data search on internet based how many fish kills happened. Actually, Ulsur was the one in 2016 probably which brought into the light about the fish kills in Bangalore. I think that was, across the pollution control board, if you look out for any reports on fish kill, you will find only one report on Ulsur. And that too you will find in CPCB website, that is the Central Pollution Control Board website, not in Karnataka's one. That brought in many agencies, particularly BWSSB, BBMP, at that point of time KLDA was there, and State Pollution Control Board. They came with action plan and all, but of course it never was implemented, and that is how it is going on. Still we are seeing the pollution at the lake, and BBMP have a small structure that they have made before the inlet of the lake, which stops the sewage entering the lake, and that's a temporary thing. And during monsoon, what happens is when water in the Rajakalwe surges, along with the rainwater, sewage also enters the lake. So this is the whatever arrangement that BBMP has been able to make as of now.
Okay. After learning that pollution, now we'll move on to the trees. Mr. Vijay Nishant is also known as a tree doctor. Now I want to know about him because Vijay, let me know. Vijay, let me know. There is a strong bondage between lakes and trees. Please elaborate on that.
Yeah, for me it is like a full circle actually, and why I'm telling you is because Suresh Ablikar sir used to come to my school actually. I used to be a kid. I used to come to his like a D level, and he used to come on the summers because of the hotness of the school, because it's opened in our case Edur Jainagar Lake 7th block. He used to take us under this tree and make us to sit and listen to all the stories about the Western Ghats, whatever he is saying now, like that's how I got into the environment thing. So now, everything is not negative. So let me turn the positive side of the things actually. Okay, that is where we have come. That is what we are looking at it actually. Because I myself, like when I was doing the third year engineering, somewhere I thought like Bengaluru was my city, because now when I'm coming, like so much of a traffic is happening. Even I heard like servers like gone to the traffics and all. Yes, going back and coming back is coming. But if you see all the roads, what you're seeing is me and my friend used to take a ride, and there is no single people used to have seen actually. We would have gone right, left, friend, and all the trees we used to enjoy, because that my friend, one of the friend is from the MP actually. So all the people who have come, they were telling how and I being the Jainagar boy, I I grown in all the tree vicinity actually. So why am later on when I started Bengaluru was losing all its tree, urbanization was happening on the cutting. That's how I decided I wanted to take care of my city. Let me get into it actually. That's how I got into it. So that is the thing actually. So later on I what I did is I tried to do something called a tree accountability actually, because I was working as a volunteer in a teenage year in the college time itself as actually when I started it I was knowing how the area urban area is working. I was hearing a lot of the Western Ghats, the tiger things I was visiting and all actually. I changed my thought process, saying that all the consumption, the pollution is happening in the urban areas, so I should start working in the urban areas actually. And better than a Bengaluru, I don't think it whatever the trees, what you are seeing it as the Malleshwaram trees and your Jainagar tree, all is planted in the 1984s actually. And May 1st is Naginal, SG Naginal sir. He is the person who planted 15 lakh trees, and that's how you got a city called Green City and the Garden City actually. Those are the time. Even those days the people never used to allow to planting of the trees and everything. So I'm so happy the one person able to bring such a things. That is the attraction you got in the 90s actually, where all the trees were blooming it, and there is something called Rutu Samara. Every 2 months you used to watch a flowers coming. So that's how the 10 months in a year we used to have flowers. That's how the Bengaluru got that attraction actually. Okay, and the best part is now when sir was mentioning the grassland and a lot of other things, because Manju is talking only about the lake bit actually. So because he's into the lake and all, I understand, because I'm very happy. What he's concentrating is very important. But if you see the trees and the kind of a landscape, the soil condition of the Bengaluru is what we have to take advantage of it actually. So today I can't dig out the well. I can't dig out the well. Such a spaces is not in a Bengaluru, but I'm damn sure there is a lot of last week I visited RR Lake where they closed up the water which is supposed to come to the well. It is dried up completely actually. But these are the things we have to see it actually. Now everything is freezed, like a lake and all your catchment area, Kalyanis and all actually. Around that one, all the concretization has happened and everything. Now what we can do is all this has to be taken into the consideration. Not only that one actually, we have to concentrate on the trees also, because why I'm telling you is so today you might wells and the water bodies using it, the capacity is all the lakes have become a septic tanks and all actually. You don't have a much and other things and everything. But if you start planting the trees actually and remove all the concretization area, there is some solution. The underwater can be recharged actually. I'll give you a guarantee to you that one. There is after 3 years, if you plant some tree, sure you're going to get the waters and everything actually. And that is where I started. When I started, I told them, because the tree was going actually in those days, I told them trees are going, we should have the accountability. Until unless I don't know what I have it, I don't know what to do. That's how I come with the idea called something like mapping the trees actually. And I'm so happy and proud to tell you, Bengaluru is a city which has pioneered a digital tree mapping for India actually. We accomplished it. We took it in the budgeting also actually. But what has happened is over the time, the political will, and they were knowing is accountability will happen. A tree authority or a tree committee or a tree department or knowing it, the accountability will happen. So somewhere they did not allow the tree census to happen. Somehow it has now into the High Court. Now they're pushing every level, but it is not happening. Somewhere in between it is there. I'm so happy to tell you, because of whatever we did it, Mysore has already picked it up. They're doing it. Even Vadodara is picking it up actually. So, and other thing is what we have to see in all this one, the pressure what the Bengaluru is receiving is somewhere we wrongly identifying this year, because there is no rain, we are wrongly putting everything to the Bengaluru in a wrong picture actually. If you really see, there is no water problem here. Do you know how? The capacity of the Bengaluru is 40 to 50 lakh actually. You have brought up a 1.3 crore people and you expect to sustain the city. That is not wrong. The first and foremost, what we have to start, where it has to be started is to starting with a sustainability study. on the ward level like a tree census actually. That is where it all has to start, and that has to start with your political people and the media. Everybody should come together actually. You start asking for it actually. And other thing is, you should not treat a Bengaluru as a Karnataka. Stop treating Bengaluru as a Karnataka. Start developing the other cities and give the alternative for them to push to the other cities who are people who are coming from North Karnataka, other places. Let them have the option in their own cities only actually. These are the things which has to be done actually. And other thing is what I wanted to say, as the sir kept telling it actually, grassland. How many of we know like because Prajavani wrote about it, we fought about it, and recently 5,000 acres land they wanted to give it, not to give it back. That case I went to the court, I won that case, and today we bought it back and we're putting into the wildlife board meeting to declare it as a conserve reserve actually, because that is a place we got the water. The Banagata, when we fought it actually, when the illegal mining was happening, for 30 years nobody looked into it actually. And you won't believe me, all the animals are gone. All the water was like polluting because of the blast and all. Animals were not coming. People are like struggling with all their growth and all. Today, after we stopped illegal mining, I met with the union minister, fighting all the things. Today, all the animals have come. All the water is either clean actually. And recently, you were Singanayak and Halli Lake, well, a 6,000 trees supposed to they cut actually. We stopped it actually, literally. Because these are the work we have to carry out it actually. And the one thing Sarah's mentioned actually, something he mentioned, you have to be very careful with that. And what he's mentioning is, see, you have to be very careful. Do you know what? The disconnect the children we are having in the urban areas actually. I recently visited a college, Noble College. I asked them, how many trees can you name it? They are so focused in the classroom, they did not have a confidence even to saying that actually, I know mango tree, I know coconut tree. They did not even say that one. Do you want it? So the wrong is, that is where the wrong is coming. You're not disconnecting, because why it is happening? Because you're putting into the classroom area and you are not taking them to the lake actually. You're not introducing the trees. That is where the urban areas comes actually. If the urban area people, you are not educated, if they are not fought, if they are not connected, if they are not given the knowledge, how are we going to save our forest? Because exactly I did it this one, because I used the urban crowd in a Bengaluru when they wanted to bring the water from some Western Ghats to here. We told no wanted. We don't want. We taking the water from there actually. We should not deprive them. We will never ever take it, and we stopped it. Do you want it? And even a Hubli Ankola, when happened, 600 hectare forest, we were diverted. 20 years, these people have fought actually. The generation after generation, 2 decades they fought it actually to save it and everything. And you won't believe me, the damage what it will going to happen, it's irreversible actually. So that is where it is very important, the urban area, the knowledge, the connectivity, the continuity, and other thing is what we have seen it, no? There is no problem in the Bengaluru, tree saving or a lake saving and all. The problem is, you go and save and come back, they will come in other way, they destroy it actually. People are getting tired on this one. That is where the problem lies actually. So this is where we have to see what we have to do it actually. And that's where the media, again talking to the people, continuous talking it, properly channelizing it and educating the localites is going to be, gives a positive way of it actually. So we should not getting into the negative mode of it, because every city is going in now. And the other best part, what you have to look at the design of the cities actually. Now the metro, whatever the alignment they have cut it, they can't plant it somewhere actually. You got to know the design has to be in such a way that the green what you have taken, it has to come back somehow in that way actually. And we have to micromanage all our green spaces, all our resources in the urban area, and that will give us some sense actually. And last thing I wanted to mention it, sir, not only today, 20 years it did not change, because he is always told the consumption, the people are more and more. The consumption, what you're taking, no? That you can't, how you'll stop it actually. So that's why what we have to do is actually, we have to use the things, not to abuse the things actually. If you wanted 10 clothes, you buy it at 10 clothes, not beyond that one. If you wanted like some food, you take it. If you want some water, you wanted to use electricity, you use that much only actually, not go beyond that one. And that cap has to be put actually. Your living should be sustainably. See, I myself Till like a 10 years, I used my all two-wheelers for all the consultation wherever I. Today, I'm so happy I bought electricity. Somebody told Vijay, that electricity, no, the battery is some issue for the future. I told no, there is no sound. There is no sound, no pollution. This is contributing it actually. You should not squeeze the environment in such a way that will hurt the people. Because I am following it, you should also not follow that one. Like that, you should bring the people in their own way to contribute to the environment. In that way, we can do something to the city actually. In that way, I'm hopeful. Because tomorrow, I don't know, when I go to the children and talking to today, tomorrow they might understand the city, what is the trees, what is the lake, the structure and all. They can destroy the entire city, they can rebuild it also. That is where I'm hopeful actually. That is where I'm like looking at it actually, because Sir has told like from that time to this time, how much has changed actually. You suddenly can't change it actually. So that's where we have to hold it and keep checking it, try something positive, and that's where this kind of a discussion is very important. So 60, you told 2016, the Halsur Lake, I was the one who fought for it. I was the first guy to go there and put up all the fight over there actually. So that is where all the things, that is the only accountant, because Friends of Lake took it actually, later on the NBF took it. But the other thing is last thing I wanted to mention to you, sir. All the MPs, MLAs, not accounting the tree, the Bengaluru. I can even name it from either side of the party actually, if you want it. Because one of the MP who fought for all the lakes, he was a minister now. He did not take care of a single lake, and both the parties, which are a Banarghat eco-sensitive zone, people have fought like a tooth and nail actually, but they did not declare eco-sensitive. 100 square kilometer has been reduced now actually. If that is saved, how much of a water, how much of the air quality, everything will be saved actually. So what I'm asking you is to look at the issues, what you're looking at, try to connect it actually. Like a Devare, one of the BET person, he petitioned it today in the High Court. Do you know what? Whatever the public consultation you're getting it, today all the document you're seeing in a public domain in a BBMP, all it is done by the Devare and me. Because before, like during your steel bridge flyover, you never used to get the public consultation for the tree cutting, and they never used to show the project to you. Actually, all this is accounted because somehow these kind of people.
Only tree, Vijay.
Yeah.
Not only tree.
Yeah.
On lake also there is a development are going. That's also I'm there is so Vijay mentioned one thing, sir, sustainable development. Lot of things, a lot of talks going on about sustainable development. But in Bangalore, there is no sustainable development. I'll give you one example, as you know, you also know, in Bhairasandra Lake, that lake was sold, and the bank was given the loan on it, and it was actioned also. But one person, that Venkat Subbara was there in Jayanagar, he was fought for several years, almost 10 to 12 years he was fought for that lake. It was protected now. It was very developed, but as you know that. But sustainable development is not going on like that. When you are going to any development or road, we have to take the lake's bed, or on the lake we will go on that. Example was Kote. Now in Elemulla Pakcheti Lake also. On the highway it is going on the lake only. But how we can protect these lakes on this sustainable development on a court?
This sustainable development has become a big fashionable word. Big fashionable word with a lot of these corporates, let me tell you. You can see the paper, there's a sustainable economy, sustainable. I don't know what do they mean by sustainable development? Because anything that sustains must keep in mind the future generations. Because whatever you are using must be available for the future generations. Isn't it? Otherwise, they will say that, the earlier generations bloody exploited everything and then went by. This is what is happening. So as far as I'm concerned, I only think agriculture has been sustainable because for the last 6,000 years, since settled agriculture came, it has stayed more or less in the last 200 years when we have been using fertilizers, pesticides, more water. We have disturbed the land, living dynamic soil, and used a lot of technology. Otherwise, Agriculture is one of the most sustainable food products, that is our living systems on the earth. Even, let's say, for Ford, for the last 200 years, Ford, when he told the entire American government that don't bring bus or train to Detroit, he said, I will give car to everyone. America was a country with only about 20 crore people then. Now it is 30 crore. So it had a lot of resources, a lot of land, and 3 times bigger than India. They can maintain. Even such a big industry in the world had to close down about 10 years ago. Now, what I'm trying to say is, see, the government is not looking at, when they talk about development, we don't have a blueprint of what development is, what this country needs. We are 140 crore people. Okay. Now, everywhere people are saying that only few people are rich here in this country, something like 200 people. They own 70% of the wealth of the land. Well, that apart, you see, we have to look at it, because there will be social stability will be disturbed. Once social stability is disturbed, there will be political anarchy. Political anarchy means chaos, violence. It's going to happen. There is no doubt about it. Earlier, people were not known. They were poor, they were backward. They thought that was a kind of life they were given, they had to live. But today it's not that. The poorer people have gone to the schools, some of them have gone to colleges. They today are aware that they need the rights which were not given to their parents. They will fight for you. Because in Johannesburg, about 108 countries, the leader said, today everybody is asking mobile phone, everybody is asking car. How can we give? And if we give only to some people, the larger number of people will say that we have not been given this. So there will be political anarchy, there will be political instability. See, today we are, most of the things that we brought from the Western countries, let's say, car, computer, camera, everything. Maybe the Western civilization needed it. They were cold countries, they had to develop scientifically, they had to do mining, they had to go deeper, they developed the bore wells and all that. But we didn't need all that. We didn't need all that. We have a great Himalayas. We have great, the Dakshina Peninsula, India, where about 3 seas we have. Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, and we get a lot of rains wherever there are depressions and all that. We should have known what kind of a life we required. Today we have cars and I'm not against any development as such. But Japan, it brings its assembly lines, puts us, because they don't have enough land. They bring their assembly lines, puts a lot of people here, we have a lot of cars here being produced. See, Bairamangala Lake, the biggest lake of Bangalore, where one of my films was shot, called Alemane, that Nammura Mandaro is and wrong, is popular anyway. That particular lake is completely gone now. It was one of the most beautiful lakes, the biggest lake of Bangalore. Now most of the garbage is being dumped into that lake. 1942, the British built a drinking water reservoir, and the lake served about more than 150 villages. People grew their fruits, bananas, and they grew ragi, many vegetables. And then there was Chandrasekhar, who was the Chief Justice of India, he was the chairman of Indian Society for Environmental Studies. Because my film was being shot there, I was very happy. When after about 2 or 3 years later, I saw that some of the JCB were working, they were flattening the land, they were uprooting the trees, grass and everything. I asked them what they are doing. They said, sir, we don't know what is happening. Then I took the Chief Justice. He was such a wonderful man, like a Gandhian. He came with me, then we went and I showed him. Then the people said, sir, we are putting up some industries here, it's going to be made an industrial layout. I said, this is the biggest lake of Bangalore. It serves most of the vegetables to Bangalore come from Bairamangala Lake, around that lake, most of the vegetables. Today you have to go 100 kilometers to bring your vegetables. Then he said, I will give a letter, you go and meet the industry minister. I said, I know the minister, I will go. I went to the minister, I told him, sir, this is the biggest lake. For everything you bring environment, he said. If we want to develop some kind of an industrial layout, you say the grass is being uprooted, the shrubs are going. Then how do we develop? Who will give salaries to Vidhan Soda, he said. Who will give salaries of the people in Vidhan Soda? I said, you may give salary, but once the lake is gone, when the people don't get the drinking water, the local sources, do not supply the drinking water to local population, the youth will migrate to Bangalore, then you will have to spend 100 times more than what you are giving as a part of salary by way of taxing the government or the factories there. And this is exactly what has happened. The lake is completely gone. No vegetables are produced, no fruits are produced, no ragi is grown. If you go and look at the lake, it is gone completely. Entire garbage now from the industrial area of Rajayanagar and Pindya is being, taken from the canal there and is being dumped into the lake. So this is what I wanted to say. See, one more thing I just want to, from Ranebennur, North Karnataka very well. After Davangere, there is a Ranebennur. From Ranebennur to Belgaum is about 200 kilometers and 45 kilometers width. There are 4 ecosystems. One is the Western Ghat forest, and as it subsides, we have the shrub jungle. And as the shrub jungle subsides, we have the pond ecosystems. And towards the east of the lakes, we have the grasslands, the Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau is an amazing land of entire South India. The grassland is completely not at all considered by the government. When the BDA is giving layouts in the grasslands and wetlands of Bangalore, what do you do? And today we are talking about water. Yes, sir, am I right? BDA, wonderful layouts. I mean, the wonderful grassland and wetlands, which will maintain the wonderful weather of Bangalore. It will maintain soil, it will maintain the atmosphere, it will address the climate change issues. We are converting them into housing layouts. And from Arkavati, let's say from Arkavati, as the waters used to come, it would flow into Nagarkere of Dodbalapura. From Nagarkere, it always full, 12 months. From Nagarkere, the waters would flow through the wetlands and grasslands, come to Hesarghatta. And just before Hesarghatta, there are 5,000 acres of one of the best grasslands we have. And one MLA wanted, sir, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಬರೇ ಹುಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, there is only grass, we'll develop it into a city, he was saying. This is what, these people are saying. And that Hesarghatta lake is alive today because of the grassland. Grassland absorbs a lot of water. 34% of the carbon is held by the grasslands. And it has wonderful macro life. It helps the climate change system in the sense it addresses the problems. It addresses the problems of global warming. It helps the wildlife.
I want to point out one thing, sir. You are talking about Hesarghatta.
This I wanted to. I will finish.
Just now, okay.
No, because this is 4 ecosystems, and in Dharwad they developed an industrial area called Belur Industrial Area. Okay, about 5,000 acres or so, and the industries are put up there in that Belur Industrial Area. Most of the lakes have gone. Today there is no water for industries. My nephew is working for one of the big industries there. He said the government wanted to give us 5 lakhs of tree, 5 lakhs per day. Today they are not even giving 50,000 liters per day. 5 lakh liters they had promised. There is no water. I spoke to MB Patil, who was the industry minister. I said there was one lake they wanted to develop it. I called the pollution control board chairman. We had the Tatas and all. And I told them, you don't know about Dharwad. Dharwad is called as a cultural capital of India because we have great poets like Bendre, great writers, great playwrights, great filmmakers, amazing singers like Bhimsen Joshi, Mallikarjun Mansoor, Gangubai Hangal, Basavaraj Rajguru. This is a wonderful cultural capital. You look at Bendre, how he wrote Patargitti Pakka, Nodidene Akka, looking at the butterflies. Bantido Shringarama Sakantu Nakkacha. Nobody could write like that. They could only look at these beautiful environmental assets. It kept the city wonderful. That is why we have great pedas, kundas. Thousands of people are employed. Wonderful pots are made in Mugad Lake, and which are sold to Gujarat, which are sold to Maharashtra. People there, 100 houses. For the last 100 years they have been carrying on. In Khanapur, wonderful soil. They make wonderful Ganeshas. So the local skills are developed there because of the lake, because of the soil, because of the grasslands. We should understand what is happening. That's what I'm saying. The economic systems are supported by the environmental assets. If we lose these environmental assets, the economy will go down. Now, which economy, tell me, according to me, that's what I want. So these are the systems. And one more thing, from Arkavati I wanted to say, so the water should come to Nagarkere, from Nagarkere to Hesarghatta to Tijihalli. In 1932, Mokshagundam Vishwesvaraya, he developed that lake. 25% of the drinking water demands were met by that one lake. And today, HAL spent about 7 to 8 crores. They gave it to one godman. He doesn't know anything about environment. He doesn't know. And he employed one fellow who was working there in hydraulic system, hydrology, and he gave him a job. So he makes a proposal, he sends it, and a godman gives it. One minister told me, Saibra, why are you struggling so much? You go to Delhi, make one minister, call us, we will give you a project, we will give you money. Look at that Swamiji, he said. He's taking all the money, he's taking all the help, he's taking all the name. He's not doing any work. This is what is happening. Another Swami so I don't want to name, he said, I'm going to grow 300 to 400 crore trees. I said, where? Where are you going to grow? Forests, you cannot grow trees. Forests need to be developed by itself. That is why it is called as a forest. You look at the humus. Every other single blade of grass is different and a shrub is different. The vale is different. It is not like a garden. It is not like a monoculture plantation. Forest is different. That is why there are wonderful microlife. Like the bees and all that. They keep working on the forest, keep rejuvenating the forest every day. This is what we have to understand. So here, about 5,000 acres, they just completely gone. All the lakes have gone, creeks have gone. It is amazing. Sometimes we are so agitated, we don't know what to do. Really, how much time, how can you? We went on addressing these issues for the last so many years. I sometimes feel that, the people will have to face all these problems. Because nothing is working. The government, I sometimes feel even the government itself is helpless. If they listen to us and if they start working according to our planning, they won't be able to even win the votes. They won't be able to form the government. We have come to that now. That is why I have a feeling that we have to work towards forming a different civilization. The kind of civilization we have built, because democracy is now not ours. We have learned many things from the different countries of the West. Very frankly, we had a different ecosystem. We had different political systems, different social and revenue systems. Our lakes were wonderful. Sir, about many years ago, Nijalingappa once, I had met him, he told me that, why do you have a minor irrigation department and spending thousands of crores? You put some police fellows, every small lake, if it is developed, if it is maintained, automatically there will be good agriculture, there will be good environment, there will be wonderful local people will be helped, local skills will be developed. Exactly. But there are that kind of politicians we don't have, unfortunately. So these are the things today. And catchment area, I'm just telling you here. You go to Bengaluru, we have been reading about it for the last so many years. Bengaluru cannot be developed anymore because the catchment is gone. If you want to know what is a catchment area, you must go to a village and look at what. Manju is a wonderful man. I mean, he has worked quite a lot on that. You look at the catchment, it has grass, it has shrubs, it has small trees. When the rain falls, it takes all the micronutrients from the soil and gushes into the lake. There must be environmental flow of 20% of water, both in the rivers as well as lakes, so that the biotic flow, it helps all the plants and all the microlife, aquaculture, like, frogs and fish and everything. Otherwise, what we do, Bengaluru is beautiful. What is beautiful? You must make a road, plant some crotons, that's finished. No water is coming there. Groundwater is gone. Groundwater is gone. Fresh water, when it comes from the rain, doesn't flow into the river, doesn't take the new nutrients. How can a lake be? So it is called dead water. So most of our lakes, as he said in his presentation, they are dead. These are the dead water lakes. There is no environmental flow. Aganashini River near Kumta is 118 kilometers long from Sirsi to one of the finest estuaries in Asia. Wonderful estuary it has. It has a wonderful fish. People come from all over to buy the fish there. Just 20 kilometers if you go from there is the Sharavati River. The people don't buy that fish there because Sharavati is dammed. When you dam a particular river, the water will stay there for more than a month, 2 months, 3 months. All the vitamins are gone. Minerals are gone. Same thing happens here. Aganashini doesn't have a dam. It just flows all the time, carrying nutrients, beautiful lake. So these are the things which we should. So fortunately now Ramsar development, it has been taken over. And that is one good thing, but I don't know how the rest of. So just wanted to tell you that environment is an integrated thing. We should take into consideration the oceans, the river, the forests. Don't think only Bangalore lakes. No. The network of the underground water systems, that is anything, small pond, kalyanis, wells, little lakes, all these are very important. The air. See, for instance, in Sudan, in Africa, it carries the dust over to Brazilian forests. See, imagine thousands of kilometers through the wind, and that dust gets deposited in the Brazil forest. It is phosphorus, it has a phosphorus, and it helps tremendously the biodiversity. Imagine from Africa to Brazilian forests, the dust is carried through the wind across the oceans, from where to where. So this is what environment is. Our oceans have become warm. Our earth has become warm, unfortunately, and we don't know where to go now. Many, many years ago, I remember having seen a film called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It was one of the finest movies then. In that, there is a scientist, he lives most of the time underwater because there is no borders in the oceans. And only once he comes up, he says people have become naked and fighting with, stones and sticks and all that. Oh my God, I don't want to come on the earth, he says. So this is the thing, oceans, forests, all must be maintained. If we don't maintain them, and you see, this earth, 70% of the earth is covered by oceans, 10% by flake, by the glaciers. Only 20% of land and 800 crore people. We are living on this 20% of the land, imagine. And we want cars and bungalows and apartments and everything. I don't know how long. So this is the thing. I'm happy most of you have come. And anybody wants to say anything? Yeah, you wanted to ask something. Solution is, that's what I'm saying, peri-urban area, that is our villages are today even safe. There are certain lakes which are spoiled, but most of the lakes, kalyanis, small ponds, grassland, agriculture fields, horticulture, has remained in the villages. But the surrounding villages of metropolitan cities like Bangalore, they are a little dangerous. Because, people are buying land from the agriculture field. and they are putting up their apartments, shopping malls. Because we are working in the peri-urban areas, I know it. I told this once to brigades. So there is a solution. If we maintain the villages, the peri-urban areas, if we create awareness among the local people to protect their skills, to good agriculture, good vegetables, good fruits, good grains, pulses, they can all be grown. And then it will address the climate change issue, it will address global warming, it will help metro cities like Bangalore to survive. Otherwise, Bangalore will not be able to survive if you depend only on the cities. We have lost all, we have hit the precipice now, unfortunately. We have destroyed most of the groundwater because nearly 50% of the groundwater even today is required. We are getting only about 1,600 and odd, 1,450 only from Kaveri. And the rest of the water has to come only from groundwater. There were fractures, these fractures, all the fractures have gone because we have destroyed most of the valleys, most of the elevations and depressions. They were very important. The topography, that is why, needs to be maintained. Topography contains this. Grassland contains microlife. It helps the groundwater to survive. And we have no planning when we take out groundwater. Because see, when we take groundwater, we just, don't keep any minimum amount of water also. That is why one British geologist told me, you should use it as a fixed deposit. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive. Just like what happened in Africa, people were standing in the queue to buy even 1 or 2 bottles per day. That's going to happen to us, unfortunately. So, if we can maintain our villages, that is the only thing where the cities will survive. Because Pune yesterday had hit 43.2 degrees. I had never seen that. Most of our cities, we have converted most of our cities into metropolitan cities. I don't know why. We are fascinated by shopping malls. We are fascinated by this. I don't understand why.
So as we are running out of time, I just want to know about that. We are already in tanker cities now. Means we are getting water by tankers only.
How long will you get tankers?
That's why. What is the solution for that? Because
I'm telling you, the villages, if you...
So in Bangalore, we need what is the solution for Bangalore? Means we are just...
This is circulating that we have to plant one tree in front of the tree house.
1 second, we'll come out to the question answer. Last question. What is the solution for Bangalore? Because it's going to be a tanker city, so it means we are getting the water from tanker only. How will you come out from this?
That's what I'm saying. The surrounding villages, surrounding villages, all the water bodies, whatever, some small ponds, small water bodies, small kalyanis, wells, they all need to be protected because they do contain a lot of water. And we have to maintain all the topography. We should not go on using just, JCBs there, destroy, the steep. We have destroyed all the gradients and put up houses there. Okay. Valleys have been destroyed. Today, this Kormangala, they just have made, it was a beautiful valley, just like Hebbal Valley. Beautiful valley, it was like Kengeri Valley. So we think of, creating some cement and road and all that, like white cement, and making it look only beautiful for a little while. The nature itself is so beautiful. We don't understand it. Van Gogh, he wrote a letter to his brother who was in Paris. He says, I am born in a village, I will die here, and I will paint here, he said. Beautiful painting. I saw it in Amsterdam Museum. One of the most beautiful paintings of Van Gogh. See, we have to, that is why many people believe that art, literature, poetry, painting, these are very necessary to maintain our environment. Not just, build cities and all that. No, we have to have, because people keep, as I told you about Bendre, they would just walk, they would go and sit on the lake and look at the beautiful water body, look at the birds, spend their lifetime there. and get the maximum amount of imagination, understanding, information, knowledge from the natural resources. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, before going to questions, answers,
No,
I just
that's
want
what
to
I told.
I just want to
Yeah.
ask Pachappa. We are depending on the tankers. How lakes are polluted? How we are getting? How we are going to get pollution of the water or bacterial of the water? Is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we have been closely working in few lakes. Dotkal Sandra is one among them, and few other lakes are there. But I can take examples of Dotkal
Groundwater
Sandra.
being polluted. That's the thing. We are getting the tank water from the borewells only. Groundwater is getting polluted.
Correct. The groundwater is, BBMP see lake as one of the place where it gets percolated and down it goes to the groundwater. But unfortunately, most of the lakes are polluted. We all know that. Now, how do you protect the lake from being polluted is one aspect that we need to look into. For that, I would say, BBMP is doing whatever it is doing. Pollution Control Board, however, it is not very active. But what about the local community? The local community needs to come together, and first they need to appreciate that they have a lake which has got a biodiversity. You don't need to go to Ranganthittu or any other place to see biodiversity. You have many birds coming there. We have documented different birds over different seasons. And that's how you should start doing it. Bring your children there. And at Dotkal Sandra, what we have been able to do is create awareness among the local people, which has helped them to understand this is we have to protect this. So every time there is a sewage coming from different corners. I mean, in a lake there is not only one place where sewage enters. There are many different corners. So you need to have a watch. People go for walk on a day-to-day basis. All that they need to do is understand where sewage is coming and try to highlight it at the concern. So we have been helping them to do that, and in the last 1 year we have been successfully seen that the water quality has not turned polluted. So there is a pollution class like A, B, C, which is for humans, and D is class for wildlife and fisheries, and E for irrigation and industrial cooling. Okay. So we have been able to maintain Dotkal Sandra water under D. What we have done is there are roads which leads to the lake. So we have tried to get a pipe. We had to fight with Mohan Krishna at that point of time, and we made them understand that we need to get the rainwater. Rainwater is the only way we can balance the water, because the Rajakalve water, when it enters the lake, it comes polluted because it has got rainwater plus sewage coming inside. But although there is a wetland which is helping to reduce the suspension pond.
Out of the time.
Yeah, I'll just finish. So that is one point. If your water in the lake is good, definitely your groundwater will be clean. Added to it, how do you recharge? There is one bigger opportunity that state has forgot is BMRCL. BMRCL network has gone across the city, and it's a big opportunity for all of us to ensure rainwater can be harvested. And they have done that in 2012. Very few, around 30-40 rainwater harvesting pit they have done. But that's a bigger opportunity. Across the city we can do that.
Okay. Vijay, quick words from you. Tell me how we can come out from Tanker City to Lake City again.
See, the first and foremost, lakes are, as you told, it's only 200 actually. So if you see doing the sustainability city regarding the capacity, see, this all has a capacity of 100. You can't bring out to 200 people, and you can't say there is no space actually. That is where the sustainability study, where you have to start it actually. People should ask for North Karnataka be developing it actually. The people have the more options and all actually. Other thing is the city has to get the tree census actually. And other thing is you have to all this concretization, the madness which is happening actually, that has to be properly stopped. That is where the citizen like you, even if in your area one space you stop it actually, it can be done different kind of a water recharging and everything. The planting has to stop. Another thing is what is actually the BBMP itself. Somebody told, no, ma'am, you told we wanted to, if you send the message, BBMP itself has a 1 lakh tree every year to be planted. If they would have planted from 10 years, no, the Bengaluru would have been the forest actually. So rather than anybody sending a message or something, please ask your ward level, planting the trees and the properly, micromanage it actually. These are the steps which has to be taken and everything. And we have to keep fighting for the a Banagata, Hesargata grassland actually, all the other green areas and everything, and try to create a green patches. Recently, I've been invited to the Hesargata, we took a dearly. You won't believe me, today only it rained actually, single drop of water. I'm able to manage it, the 3,000 trees actually. We are growing it in a 30 acres land already this year. I'm so happy to tell you, every pit holds a single plant. You can come and check actually, nearly 100 liters of the pit water it is holding actually. Everything is a 12 feet of a tree. That whole 30 acres of a land, you will get to be recharged actually. So every level we have to work it out, and not to allow this all the political class to come back to to destroy it actually. Now steel bridge flyover, what you saw, no, it is people kept asking it. 50 tree, after so much of a resistance, somehow they chopped the 50 trees actually. 2,000, not 2,000 trees. That resistance has to be constant, and that is where we have to concentrate actually.
Okay, thank you.
Make a survey of Bangalore. Make a proper survey of Bangalore. Find out how many wells are there, how many ponds, how many wells, how many lakes, ponds still are there, how much of grassland is there, how many trees. And then BDA should never touch this grassland, never touch this wetlands, never touch them. It has to be made very, very clear. Not a lake should be disturbed.
We'll take questions.
Has to be said.
We'll take questions. Any questions, please? Please. Make it
So,
brief.
yeah, so hi, I'm Abhishek. I study development and policy at Azim University, and recently my field work has been on water renewal and water scarce areas. So I'm slightly interested in this, and I just feel that here a little bit we're kind of slightly asking the wrong questions, because there's always, I feel, we're inquiring as to whether development is incompatible with this water, but we're not asking. Do we actually have the adaptive water management frameworks needed to meet the scaling needs of a city and a population? For example, in let's say Scandinavian countries, you can switch on the tap and have drinking water. Why do we need bore wells, tankers, ROs, all of that, right? I feel like it's state failure, right? Like the BWSSB is an immensely underfunded institution. It costs 95 rupees to supply 1,000 liters of water. Instead, it charges 7 rupees per 1,000 liters of water, right? It's an enormously underfunded institution. That's why Kaveri, Stage 5, all of these things.
Please ask question.
Yeah, so I guess my question is then that why aren't we instead pricing water effectively? Why are we not recognizing water as an economic good, pricing it, valuing it effectively so that we can manage it, instead of questioning the very idea of development itself, which has resulted in so much human progress over the years?
I would say water is a basic right, you have in a society, you have many kinds of people, marginalized people are also there, and they constitute almost 40 to 50% of the city, who runs our city. So if you go on, of course, already they have overpriced, if you say 8 rupees per 1 kiloliter, that is for the Kaveri people. To what extent Kaveri, who are the people who use Kaveri? It's mainly the layouts, these areas. But these people who are in the lower rank, they take 20 rupees, they pay 5 rupees and get 20 liters of water. If you calculate, they are paying 34 more times more than any regular locality.
See,
hike the price of Kaveri water system and build the renewal systems necessary to actually, because a groundwater dependent civilization is incompatible with an industrial economy.
Yeah.
I think, we need to think about equity. Of course, they are providing in different other areas also. I don't have any solution for that.
See, when you're telling all these things, see, that is what I'm telling for the sustainability study actually. Why we get into all these things? Because the government is saying is actually, we'll develop you, you pay the tax, we will give you a right life. When you say the city, when you're bringing all the people from the village or anywhere in the city is actually, what you're promising it's actually. It's the first thing is the water, the air quality, living, which is again, it's boomeranging it actually. They're not standing for their words and you're expecting us to do whatever they're doing it. More and more price, why we have to pay it actually. Correct. No, that's where the sustainability study when comes, you will know what is the capacity of this area, what is we have to do with it actually, and why it should be measured actually, why it should not go beyond, okay, not to cater. Otherwise, see the whole only develop. You are giving all the food to the Bengaluru. You're not developing any other cities or any this one actually. Putting everything the pressure environmentally. You're putting the pressure. Water-wise, you're putting the pressure. All the thing is building a pressure to the one city that doesn't go into count actually.
Okay, next last question.
Good evening. My name is Indira Belde. I'm from ACS layout near ITPL Road. I just want to throw some light on the tree census activity because I was assigned directly with the BBMP Forest Department to complete the pilot tree census activity in ACS layout, and we successfully completed with the Jyoti Nivas College taxonomist. Nearly 35 botany students we could complete it, and we have also submitted the report because we have taken. So coming to question, the WhatsApp the message which is circulating as one tree to be planted in front of each and every house, will it really work? Because I don't know, we will take up our own decisions. That is first question. And second question is, as a layman, though we monitor the lakes, we are not able to understand where the sewage is coming, how really we need to address. We have raised so many complaints, but it is not really working. Okay. I know complaints are there, but solutions we are not getting.
Okay, for the first questions, I think...
First question I'll answer. Tree that will not work actually because there is all the cementing has happened actually. To remove that, the BBMP have to take a permission. That is not going to happen actually. Even before the people have come, some people only came. You told you will plant a 1 crore tree in the Bengaluru, which is not happening actually. See, that's where I'm telling you the tree census part. I think what is the party? I forgot the party. No, I was the one who associated with the tree census initiative. Okay. Why I'm telling you, see, that will give you the idea of where to plant, what to plant. That's why I told you BBMP itself has the buffer, 75,000, 1 lakh tree to plant it actually. Rather than we getting into all this kind of idea, why can't we do it with a policy level? The government does it. Do the census. Every ward, if you take it actually, you are able to plant it 100 trees are there. If you add up 50 trees, it will add a water on the biodiversity part and the tree part is taken care and everything. That's how it has to be done actually.
Second part of the question.
There are a lot of institutions, okay? Hello, there are corporates as well as educational institutions. We have visited many of them. Many of these institutions have planted crotons and not native trees. And they also have a lot of Mexican grass. All these things take water but do not attract birds or butterflies. They don't help biodiversity. They don't help the rejuvenation of soil. No moisture. So no moisture in the wood and the soil will not also help precipitation. That means rainfall. So we should advise now, actually long back I had advised the BBMP that stop, making these gardens with flowers and all that, crotons, because, Bangalore's population has grown. More vehicles have come. There is more pollution of the air. We need more. So I said that if you want sequestration, that is a carbon sequestration, you need to grow more trees. So let all the parks become tree parks.
Okay, we'll take last question.
But,
we'll take last question. Last question, please.
Very briefly, I would say there is something called Sahaya app. Actually, you can raise complaint through that, and you get a SMS saying this is the concerned person from BBMP. So we need to follow up with them, with the concerned people. But I would personally offer people who want some help with regard to lake and management. I would be more than than happy to offer my support.
We will have a next, I think.
You mentioned about trees in Bangalore. So all these constructions that are happening, they say that they will replant the trees, but there's no, like, what's the point of chopping down hundreds of trees in Jayanagar and replanting them in...
That's why Vijay mentioned that.
That is what I mentioned.
Right.
Okay, another thing is, my success in the society is basically determined on if I have a car or a house, and it doesn't matter if my house is on an encroached lake. So how do you think we can deal with this kind of pressure? Because this is the kind of pressure that leads to rapid construction and people rapidly purchasing cars and big cars.
That is why we should not allow cities to become metropolitan cities. That is where we have done a big mistake. We don't have the mindset to build big cities. Let me tell you. India doesn't have the knowledge how to build metropolitan cities. The Western civilization took 150 years to build the first city. Till 1932, New York was not a big city. It was dirty. We should understand that. So this is where we have gone wrong. Unfortunately, many of our bureaucrats, politicians, they go abroad, oh, beautiful shopping mall, do the same thing here. No. There are millions of people who live in the small town.
Shivering with too much AC when less AC.
Exactly.
Every single
Yes, yes.
Why are so we are doing it because we are all shivering, but we're not.
You're right. We should, everything has to be changed. The architecture. You see, that Le Corbusier, that French architect who came, Nehru had invited him. He went around the whole country. He told Nehru, I said, you have great architects in this country. Wonderful architecture you have. Why do you need me? He said. See, this is what we have to understand. So we have to change it. Look at architecture, look at our education, look at the cities we are building. All these need to undergo a lot of change.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will not be able to save environment.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag sir, for having you.
On behalf of BIC, I'd like to thank the entire panel for being here with us tonight. I'd like to thank the audience for your time and interest.